Hey everyone. I know this is crazy for me. I mean, two videos like back to back continuation. Holy shit. It's like I said in the last video. If you go out and you find something that you enjoy, um, the motivation it just doesn't need to exist. It comes easy. Um, Anyways, speaking of last video, once again, there's gonna be so many similarities. Crown Raceway, just because I had uh, another good game, more footage of it. Just because this seems to be one of the maps on Modern Warfare 2 that doesn't suck complete and utter dick and balls. And the other similarity is the topic I want to talk about, just because when I finished the last video, this immediately shot into my head, and I was like, yeah, I want to talk about that because it's a big part of my life. And I think it's a big part of everybody else's life too. It has to be. It is literally a fundamental part of growing up. And I have a lot of experience with it because I've done a lot of growing up very quickly and a lot of growing up since I was maybe 8 years old. I've had to mature quick. My life has been batshit crazy. Um, anyway, that topic ties in because, you know, with motivation, I simply put it this way: it's not something that just drops out of the sky onto your lap. Boom, you're motivated. Go do something. No, you have to kind of curate it yourself. It has to be somewhat, you have to be somewhat involved with the process of creating motivation. Um, anyway, this video, it's kind of directly tied to that. It's all about taking risks. I mentioned in the last video that I went to music school. Uh, Little backstory: I've been, you know, writing songs. I've been a singer songwriter and musician since I was about 12 years old. So I've been writing lyrics and music and performing music for 10 years, a little over 10 years at this point. I I'm a shy kid. One of the biggest adversities that I faced early on with playing music was, stage fright, with me being a very shy kid. And I've also never been an extremely vulnerable person, never been one who walks into a room bearing his heart on his sleeve. And music for me was always an escape. I discovered it during a very, very dark time in my life. That's when I really kind of fell into it, and music kind of fell into my lap. So when I'm listening to music, it's a large part of it was when I was trying to make sense of the world. When everything around me was a little loud, a little too loud. When I was scared, um, angry, confused, and lost. Whenever the world was just this giant place that I didn't understand, I had my headphones on, and I still do that every day. Every day, if I'm not playing games with the boys, um, I'm listening to music. If I'm not talking to the guys and I'm playing a game, I'm listening to music. If I'm out doing what I need to do, like say I needed to get an oil change, I'm listening to music. When I'm on break at work, I'm listening to music. Anyway, I remember taking the risk of performing live and kind of just shutting up that voice in your head of, you know, I've always struggled with imposter syndrome. I've always struggled with getting the compliments. I've always struggled with, self-worth. Self-worth is the perfect example for this. I've struggled with maybe understanding I am as talented as people may say I am, and I've sold myself short. And I remember it was before a show. I was so stressed out. I was so stressed out. I'm like, what if they fucking hate it? What if they fucking hate it? And I got so stressed out to the point that I pissed myself off. I got so stressed. I was pissed off, and I just said, fuck it. Fuck it. We're going out there. If they hate it, they fucking hate it. And if they love it, they love it. Regardless. And went out, and I spent 45 minutes absolutely just ruining my mood. I ruined my entire mood and my headspace over something that went so incredibly well. I mean, this was probably the greatest show that I still played just because I enjoyed it so much and the people enjoyed it. And I was like, holy shit, okay, like this is great. And it kind of taught me that if you let your stress boil up to a point where it takes a physical toll on your mental psyche and you fucking go batshit mad, you're fine. No, I'm just kidding. That it taught me like I'm an overthinker. I'm a constant worrier. If there's something to be stressed out about, I'm going to be stressed about it. And if there isn't something, I'm going to find something to be stressed about. Every situation, I will overthink it. Doesn't matter. It's been that way my whole life. I learned, hey man, sometimes you just got to trust in the process. Sometimes you got to throw your hands up in the air and you got to just say, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm going all in. And you got to ask yourself the question, what's the worst that could happen? And after you ask that question, you analyze those results on your own. And I've got 2 examples for this. 2 examples where I've just said, fuck it, what's the worst that could happen? A big one was, we talked about, me going to music school. And I had made some friends there. Everyone had heard me play guitar. And I think I had briefly mentioned that, like I write lyrics and I sing, in my songs too. And they didn't really think too much of it. I think they just thought like, oh, he's a singer, And I remember we were working on the first song that I worked on in the studio. They were there with me. They wanted to work on it with me. I was like, yeah, sure. First day went well. We flew through all the instruments. We tracked the instruments, the guitar, the drums, the bass. Flew through it. I was perfectly fine, with that. I'm adept in that skill with, playing guitar. So, killed it there. But the second day was recording the vocals for the song. And let me tell you, I didn't fucking sleep. I was stressed to the max. My roommates probably saw just an absolute shell of a human. I was a fucking mess. I was like, oh no. Oh God, what are they going to think? Get into school. The whole time I'm driving there, I'm like working on my vocals. I'm like, I gotta warm up. I've never taken warm ups this seriously before. I need to, I have to do this. I have to be ready. Overthinking everything once again, because this was different. Like I played club joints. I had played bars. I'd played fucking parties. I've played barns, these little shows. But like, I felt like, okay, this is the first time I'm taking like music to a somewhat professional kind of level. And I remember I'm sitting in the vocal booth. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna close my eyes. So I close my eyes. I start singing. And then I think I get about halfway through the first verse and I open them and I look in the control room. And all 3 of these guys are just going absolutely nuts. We finish the verse. They stop it because they stop it. They're talking to me through my headphones through the intercom and they're just going, holy shit, man. Like, when you said you sang, we didn't think you could sing. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is something. This feels nice, but like, holy shit, I didn't expect this. And then I got told that I undersold myself. And it got me thinking. It made me happy. It changed my life, a big part of my life. I was like, oh, I've undersold myself. Have I always undersold myself? I have, haven't I? And that's when I started working a little more on my self-worth. I I think a lot of people can relate to the idea that maybe they have undersold themselves, or maybe they have undersold themselves to themselves. And I would have never found that confidence or that level of understanding if I had not taken the risk. And the second one, this is a cliche. This is an absolute cliche. Like I said, I struggle with self-worth. Um, rejection, professionally, romantically, through friendships and other relationships. I have faced rejection quite frequently in my life, and I think a lot of people have too. I mean, all throughout high school, I couldn't get a fucking job. No fucking place would hire me, and it took a toll on me. I'm like, okay, I'm not even good enough to work. Girls rejecting me, This ties in today. Say, you like this girl, okay? You like this girl, and you want to tell her, but you don't know how she'll react. Okay, now there's different contexts. Now, you have to go back to asking yourself, what's the worst that could happen? You tell her, and she doesn't feel the same. Nothing happens. The worst that she could say is no. That's the age-old question. Worst she could say is no. And on the other side of it, you never know. She might feel the same. I did this today. I asked a girl out on a date, and I'm sitting there, I fucking message her. Hey, you want to go on a date? I'm sitting there freaking out. I'm like, fuck, what did I just do? And guess what? She said yes. You know what? Sometimes you just have to look yourself in the mirror. Go to wherever you have a mirror and just go, you know what? You're better than this. You are worth taking that risk. You are worth taking that risk. And if it does not work out, well, guess what? You've got plenty of things to learn from. You got a story, you've got experience, and you've got a lot more risks to take, so you better learn to handle rejection, asshole. Please take risks. I know it's scary, but please take risks. It's completely worth it. Take risks. Become a better human being. Become a better version of yourself. Because I want you to. And do what Dad says.